a long problem. And y'all, in just a little bit, once we get through this, I'll kind of go through the test and tell you which ones are most likely on there from the study guide. So on this one, you'll see over here, we can't combine anything. Those are not like terms. So I just bring those down for now. See, I just wrote the same exact thing. Now, what do you do with a number outside of parentheses? You multiply it to everything in parentheses. Girls, make sure y'all get this. So negative 2 times negative 7 is positive 14. Don't forget your P. Negative 2 times 4 is a negative 8. So I just put a minus 8, okay? And then we have our negative 9. Negative 9 times negative 8 is a what?
Positive 72.
Positive 72, so I put plus 72. And negative 9 times 2p, negative 18p. So does anybody have a question so far on why something's negative or positive or where anything came from? We're good with that? All we did was we multiplied that number. Now we can look to see if we have like terms. Again, over here, I don't have like terms, so I'm just bringing that down. Okay? Now over here, do I have any like terms? Because it's a really long problem. So we need to combine what we can. What is negative 18p and 14p? Negative 18p plus 14p.
4p.
Negative 4p. So I'm going to put negative 4p. I've done those. And what is negative 8 plus 72? 64. Okay, are we good so far? Now we need to combine our variables. They're on different sides, so now we start moving things. Which one do y'all want to move? The 4. I would have picked the 5, but we'll go ahead and we'll do 4. I would have done the 5 as well, so it would make the P positive. But let's do the 4P. And that's okay. What do I bring down? It's just negative 1p plus 5 equals 64. If you had moved your 5p, you would have a positive p. Okay? Now what do I do on this one? Subtract 5. So you have negative p equals what? 59. What's wrong with that?
You can't do a negative, so it'd be negative 59.
Yeah, so P equals negative 59. And again, if you moved your 5P, same answer, you just wouldn't have had to have done this last step. So that's why we always move the smaller one, but it still works. Okay? How do we feel on that one? It's okay? That's a tough one. Are we still writing? Yeah. Okay. Anybody else still writing? We're good? Okay, 24. Let's keep moving. This one is a proportion. So what do we do on proportions?
You multiply everything.
Yeah, you cross multiply. So the first one I'll do is the 4 times all of that. What is 4 times x?
4x.
And don't forget the 8. What's 4 times 8?
28 or 32.
32. So 4, and that's a negative 8, so I put minus 32. Okay? And then on the other side, 5 times 2 is 10. And then we just solve like normal. So how do we solve?
You subtract 32.
Don't
Or
you add 32. Got to do the opposite. So 4x equals 42. Then what?
You divide 42 by 4.
Divide by 4. And it looks like they just reduce our fraction. What do we get?
7.
Is it 21 over 2? That's what they got. Okay? Yeah, you might have gotten a decimal, but then look at if you got a decimal and it was short answer, that's fine. But it's multiple choice, so you have to pick one of their answer choices. And that's what they got. Okay? All right, 25. It talks about interest, simple interest. So on this one, we're using this formula, which I'll put on the board. That's interest equals principal times rate times time. The rate is the percent that they give you, but what do you have to do with the percent? You have to change it, right? We have to change it so we can put it in our formula. So on 25, what's your principal? What's your starting amount?
$600.
$600. What's your rate?
1.5%.
It's 1.5%. So what does it change to?
Changes to
0.0.
0.015. Because here's my decimal right here, and I have to move it twice. So there's a 0 in front of it, 0.015. And then what's the time on that one?
6 years.
6. So you would just enter those three numbers in your calculator, okay? 600 times 0.015 times 6, and what does it give us? It is $54. Yep, that's your interest. In 6 years, it'll be $54 that you'll earn. That's not a lot.
So on those, you just multiply.
You just multiply. The trick on that one is just going to be remembering to change 1.5, move your decimal 2 places. That's the trick. Okay, number 26. It says a dress is $70 and it's 60% off. Okay, so what is 60% of 70? What does of mean? You multiply. So it's 0.60, right? You have to change it again. So it's 0.60 times 70. And what's the amount that we're going to take from it? Take off. 0.60 times 70. Oh, that's not mine.
It's like
0.6 times 70. Oh, no, I didn't do it. 42? And if that's money off, what do you do with that? Do you add or subtract it? Subtract. Yeah, if it's got a sale, you're going to take that from it. And what is that? What's that answer? What is 70 minus 42?
28.
$28. That is the sale price of the dress. It was 70. You took 60% off. So 0.60 times 70, which was 42. So we could subtract that, and that's how much the dress is going to cost, okay? So you'll take 0.60. Remember, you have to change it to a decimal, and then multiply it. 0.60 times 70. Okay? And y'all, if whatever ones you're having trouble with, put a star by them. And once we finish going through this, I don't mind going over some again. Okay? Then we're on the next little section. I hope y'all know this one. How do you solve G plus 3 equals 5? Yeah, some of you can just tell mental math, it's 2. But if we just use our little rule where we subtract it, G equals 2. Okay? On number 2, I have P divided by 2 equals 2. Yeah, so some of you can use mental math on that one, or our little rule says we would multiply by 2. So what does P equal? 4. Okay, are we good with that one?
Can you make another one of these to like practice?
Mm-hmm.
I have some, or not like that. Never mind.
What I might can
Just
do,
this whole page.
I can take the test, and then I can change all the numbers, because this one has, I don't know how many problems, 30 something. Your test only has like, did I tell you how many? I don't even know. Okay, so I can just take the test and change all the problems, and then you can go through that. Anybody that wants that, I'll do that at the end of class. Okay, short answer. It says, what percent of 60 is 42? I'm just going to write that. What percent, so I don't know. What does of mean again? Multiply of 60. So I'm multiplying by 60. is the equal sign, 42. So what do I do to solve for P? Since I'm multiplying by 60, I can rewrite it too this way. Or yeah, if you want to put an X, that's fine. We can put an X. So that's just rewritten with my number out front. So what do you do to solve for X?
I did, x over 100 equals 42. I put it as
You did it as a proportion. That's the way the book that's the first way the book teaches. This is the second way. Yeah, on this one, I would just divide by 60. And what's 42 divided by 60?
0.7, which would be 70%.
0.7, which is 70%. Okay. What percent of 60 is 42? So that's just how you can absolutely set yours up that way. If that's what you're used to, then I recommend doing that. Okay. I just make a little equation. I basically just solve it. That's like saying you got 42 out of 60 on your test or on a quiz. So you would do 42 divided by 60, and looking at that, you would say, what percent is that? Oh, that's 70%. Okay. Number 2, you have 3 cars, car A, B, and C. Car A travels 180 miles in 7 hours. What is car B? 350 miles in 4 hours. And car C is 584 miles in 15 hours. It's really hard to compare them like that. I can't tell you which one was the fastest. I mean, I might could. But the best way to do it is just to divide them and see how fast are they going miles per 1 hour. So 180 divided by 7 is 25.7. Okay, they must be in town because they're going pretty slow. All right, let's see how fast car B is traveling.
87.50.
350 divided by 4. Yeah, they must be on the interstate. Okay, so they're going 87.5 miles an hour. And then the last one,
38.3.
yeah, 38.9 or 39 or whatever. So, which one's the fastest?
B.
Car B. That's all it's asking. You're just comparing. You just divide and compare them.
I'm ready to go home already.
You just got it.
Okay. All right, next thing. Number 3. Again, this one, it's just a number outside of parentheses, so what should you automatically know to do with that? Multiply, okay? 4 times y. 4y. What's 4 times 3? 12. Okay, then how can we solve? Now it looks better. Yeah, we subtract 12 from both sides. So 4y equals, what is that? 20, yep. And then what? Divide by 4,
Which is 5.
and y equals 5. I went through that one pretty quick, so y'all make sure you get that.
This one is he's still on this one. Like, I don't know if she did or something. Will you check it?
Mhm.
Because I'm getting the same answer
Every time? I'll check it.
She has a different answer.
I will. Let me get through this real quick, and then look and tell y'all what numbers are on your, or like match your
That's why I was
test.
wondering.
Yeah, absolutely. I like a little challenge. Okay, 7 over 9 equals negative 17 over x. Okay, a basic proportion. Cross multiply, divide. So what's 7 times x? 7x. And what's 9 times negative 17? Negative 153. Okay, then what do? So we cross multiply. Now we divide. Divide by 7. And I would just put that in my calculator. And what does it give you? Yeah, negative 21.9. They got a decimal on this one as well. They probably just rounded up because whatever came after the 8, yeah. And again, if it doesn't tell you what to round to, like if you would have put negative 22, I would take that as well, okay? Because they're not telling you what to round to. All right, a package delivery, this is number 5, company has determined they can meet their schedules if they have 4 drivers. So I'm going to write this down. 4, I'm putting drivers up here, for every 30 square miles. I'm putting my miles down here. I'm assuming we're doing a proportion. Yeah. If they want to offer a service to a county of 75 square miles, where do my miles go? Mine are at the bottom. Okay, as long as you're consistent. And so how many drivers do we need? So we're going to try and find D. Does that make sense? Yes.
For that one, I got 10 drivers.
Let me see what they got. They got 10 drivers. So what do? We cross multiply, so I get 30D equals, what's 4 times 75? Is that 300?
Yeah.
300.
Sorry, I didn't know.
Oh yeah, I should have known from looking at the answer. Okay, so then what do? Divide by 30, and Lakin told us it was 10.
That's not
Okay,
exactly
so-
how I did it.
Oh, well, but still, if you get the same answer, on this one, we cross multiply and divide. 6 is the same thing. It's like all these problems over and over and over again.
I would explain it, but I don't want everybody to be winning.
That's fine. Well, you can explain it later if we have time. Okay, on number 6, it's a proportion. You can set it up a ton of different ways. So who wants to tell me what they started with? Okay.
8.
You started with 8? Okay, I'll do Kaylee. She started different than I would have. So it's 8 over what? 2. Okay, so she went from the big one to the little one, the sides that match. So then what'd you do, Kaylee? 17 over X. That's right. Again, she went from the big rectangle to the little one. Okay, I might have done 17 over X equals 8 over 2. That's the same exact thing. Or 17 over 8 equals X over 2. That's another way. Lots of different ways, okay? Same exact answer, though. Cross multiply, we get 8X equals what? What's 2 times 17? 34. Then what? Divide by 8, and it looks like we'll get a decimal. What'd y'all get?
0.23529.
They got 4.3 feet. Some of y'all got 4.25 feet. That's good. That's right. Okay, it doesn't tell you how to round. Okay, it just says what is X. So those are fine. Okay, even if I wouldn't have done 4, but if you did, I'd probably still take it. Okay, almost done, y'all. Number 7, you have a meal that costs $95.04, and you have a tip that you're leaving 11%. They must have been bad. Okay. Yeah. So first of all, you're taking 11% of that, so you're multiplying, okay? And before you can multiply by that percent, you have to change it. So I would be doing 95.04 times 0.11. What do y'all get for the tip?
I got 10.46.
10.46? All right, $10.46.
I got $10.45.44, so it'd be just $10.45.
45 cents. Okay. It just depends, I guess, on how you round, but we'll go with this one. Okay, then what do? We add the tip, right? So we get what?
105.50.
105.50. What did you get? Like in 105.49? That's what they got.
I
Was
got, that one,
yeah,
I got 95.04 plus
10.45.
plus.
The answer they got was 105.49. Again, it just depends on how you rounded. Yeah. Okay, last one, number 8. 6 over 14, another proportion, equals T over 84. So we cross multiply and divide. What is 6 times 84? 504. And 14 times T. Then what do we do? Yep, divide by 14. And what does T equal? Okay. There we go. We are done. now, look, I'm gonna stop the video because I think I went through all the